good, y'all? It's your boy, Just B. And welcome back to the Just B Show. Well, let me say this. Welcome to the Civil Discourse with my girl, Aniyah Brown. Let me tell y'all, I hope y'all was watching our show last week, yo. It was super, super dope. Aniyah, you should tell them a little bit about it.
So last week on Civil Discourse, we discussed the Black Lives Matter movement versus the All Lives Matter argument, and how All Lives Matter perpetuates the erasure of a bigger picture at hand, and that's Black Lives Matter. This week, we are going to be talking about becoming politically active.
Nice, y'all. Y'all heard what she said. Last week was about Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter. If you want to check out that episode, please go onto the Just Be Show and watch it. After you watch it, share it, like it, comment, do whatever you gotta do. Today's episode is called Becoming Politically Active, y'all. So if you are politically active, tune in. If you're not, tune in. If you want to get active, tune in because we got some great information to tell you. Aniyah, let me ask you. Look, you about what, 21, right?
Mm-hmm.
Check this out. At 21, I was not thinking about politics. As a matter of fact, at 21, I think I met my first ex-wife about 21. So, I mean, you only 21. So at what age did you even become politically active?
I would say it was around freshman year of high school, so 15, 16 years old. The situation at hand was that they were going to, in the state of California, they were going to build a gun store right next to my school, literally 300 feet away from George Washington Carver School of Arts and Sciences. And so that was really scary for me because around that time, there were a lot of school shootings and they were being publicized all over the place. And so we were inside of a very, not very small community, but it was very urban, and we already have a specific reputation that we hold for Sacramento PD. So
right.
It was very, very concerning.
Yeah, that is crazy. Yo, for anybody just now tuning in again, this is the Just Be Show. This particular series is Civil Discourse with Miss Aniyah Brown. If y'all don't know her, she's Miss Juneteenth, Nevada, y'all. Man, y'all got to give her some props. She is super dope young soul. Please share, engage, and start a watch party. Yeah, that's crazy. At 21, yeah, I could never. But I can't believe that they opened up a gun store by a school.
Yeah.
That has to be the craziest thing. So at that age, I can only imagine. I feel like that's when I got really, really creative and started that's when you kind of start to be a little more mature in your own thought process and having your own views, because at that point you're becoming an adult.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So for you, when did you develop your own personal ideals that was separate from your family, and what were some of your influences?
So again, I would have to say 15, 16 is where I became a little bit more aware of politics. But until then, of course, I was listening to my family. I believe that everyone does initially start out listening to their family and kind of piggybacking off of what the shared values of the family are. But I didn't really tap into what it is that I was truly into, what really resonated with me, until maybe senior year of high school and then further along in my college life.
Nice. So once you started having your own mindset about, having your own personal ideals, was it any pushback or anything like that from your family? Were they trying to encourage you to still go with their thought process?
I mean, my family has never tried to box me in as far as my beliefs or my goals. My mother is very, very supportive of everything that I do. I have a strong support system with my immediate family. So I didn't get too much pushback, but that there are always topics that are touchy between generations. So other than that, no, I didn't have any major pushbacks, but very, very welcoming of me being independent in my own thinking.
That's awesome, man. Big shout out to her mama. That's cool. Yo, for all the viewers and listeners out there, I want y'all to answer that question too. Those last two questions. Let me put that last one up. I want to know from you guys, at what age did you become politically active? Part 2 of that one, part 2 and 3. When did you develop your own personal ideals separate from your family, and what were your influences? Please answer us below in the comments. We definitely want to hear it, and we'll get back to you guys in just a moment. So, Aniyah, let me ask you this. This is we were kind of talking about this backstage, you know what I mean? And I really want to know, like, why don't people participate when it comes to like political and social activism? Is it fear, or what do you think? What's your opinion?
So, in my personal experience, I hear a lot of, I don't like to get involved with politics, or I choose to stay away from politics. And I partially think it is due to a feeling of not having your voice heard. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people, we feel like, I'm just one person, my vote's not going to count. Why does it matter anyway? There are people who have tons of money who are going to support politicians and have their agenda pushed anyway. So why, I'm not going to support them. I don't have the money to match them. So, my voice isn't going to be heard. I also feel like a lot of people, from what I've heard in high school and early college life, um, is that there's a fear of like the family. Again, when I started getting into politics, everything was, I learned from my family. Okay, I learned
Mm-hmm.
my do's, my don'ts. I learned, okay, this is what makes sense to me and it resonates with me. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with that. When people branch out and try and find themselves in their own core beliefs, it's kind of like cognitive dissonance, where you are met with an idea and doesn't really it doesn't directly correlate with what you've been taught, and so it's kind of like, whoa, kind of scary, kind of, like I should avoid this. So I think that's why some people don't choose to engage and participate in politics.
Right. Yeah, I can definitely see the issue with that. I'm actually, like we were talking about, I'm actually one of those people that chooses. I mean, now granted, because of some stuff that happened in the past, I'm not able to vote. Um, but I would definitely like to be able to vote. But in my personal opinion, it's just my choice. I feel like voting would be as far as it would go.
Mm-hmm.
And to kind of defend what I'm saying is I believe it's because lack of knowledge as far as being in the political, more of an activism world, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So again, thanks for being on the show and even creating this series, because just as well as you're helping me teach the audience and the viewers, for the people that don't know what we're talking about, you're helping me as well. So shout out to you, Queen, for that. That's
Thank
real.
you.
Yeah. So, yo, for all the listeners and everything, it's if you're not voting, if you're not being in a politically active in some form of fashion, you got to, man. You got to. I mean, it's not a forcible thing, but it's
Mm-hmm.
best that you do. If you care about what's going on in the world and understand that the world constantly needs change, you got to engage, just like we need you to engage on this particular podcast, y'all. It's very important. So why is it important to be active politically and socially? Like, what's the most important reasons?
Kind of like what you touched on, we need to have our ideas and our feelings and our motives heard and represented. With the people who feel like, oh, I'm just one person, my vote's not going to count, so I'm not going to participate. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of other people who think the exact same as you, or they feel the same way about a topic. Um, and they are voting. And so maybe, yeah, your one vote may not count, but there's strength in numbers. And so I highly encourage people to vote, even if your exact candidates aren't the ones who are going to represent you to the T, still voice your opinion, still voice, your beliefs. Also, not everyone gets to, like you were saying with your life and your experience, things may happen and that gets stripped away from you. And even outside of other countries, that is just not possible. It's not even discussed. Americans are to an extent privileged to be able to vote and participate in the democracy. Other countries aren't. And so I think that, it is a little selfish, and it is, of course, everyone's own right to choose whether or not they do want to vote. But for the simple fact that there are people who are out here who can't, and for a lot of people, it's not even by choice, we should be able to go ahead and exercise that. Lastly, I think that people need to engage socially and politically because everything boils down to politics in some form or fashion. Um, from the way that you go when you purchase an item, there are taxes, tax laws. Jaywalking in the street, there are bipartisan and what's it called? Bureaucracy. It's just politics is so intertwined in everything, and so to not be a part of something that literally has the effect to change everything around you just seems a bit odd to me. So yeah, everyone needs to be active, at least a little bit. If you want change, especially in your own community, we have to get active. I don't think that I'm going to stop myself. I think it would be better for people to engage in their own backyard, in their own states, start locally, and then build your way up to the president. I know that for me, at least in college, I hear a lot of people complaining about, the current president and the current administration and everything like that. And that's fine and everything. But we have to also take a look in our backyard. Like I said, okay, well, who's your mayor? Who's your governor? Because these people are also going to endorse and feed their own ideas and feed their money into, these candidates. So if we can tackle the people in our own backyard and at home, we can have a more visible change leading up to the presidency.
Yeah, great answer. Man, that you broke it all the way down for me. You broke it all the way down for me. That's super real. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. And like I said, and like you said, I feel like the biggest thing for people that the biggest encouragement to get people to vote and to be politically and socially active is the simple fact that everybody yells change. Everybody yells progression. Everybody talks about empowering and inspiring. Well, the only way to do it, even if you own a business, guys, trust me, there's some politics involved. Period. When you go to the grocery store and you buy them groceries and you want something else and ain't none on the shelf, guess what? There's politics involved in that. Everything is there for a reason. Everything is put in place for a purpose. Because everything in life is politics, whether you like it or not. Maybe not every last thing in life is politics, but majority of things in life has political versions in it. Believe that, guys. So please get involved. If you can vote, at least do that. Get in there, fill out the ballots, whatever, mail it. I don't know how they're doing it now, but do what you got to do to vote. And just get involved with your community. Like Aniyah said, start in your own backyard. Whether you're in Cali, whether you're in Chicago, I don't care where you're at, yo. But make sure that you always get involved, at least in your own hometown, just to promote change, guys, and get your friends involved. So, Aniyah, within your circle of friends, you got a big circle of friends or a little circle of friends?
I got a big circle of acquaintances and a really small circle of friends.
You got these acquaintances go up here.
Yes.
And friends go here.
Yeah.
So within that circle of friends and acquaintances, is politics, is it a big conversation or do you guys kind of steer away from it?
Well, okay, so with all of my acquaintances, it's not a major discussion, but with all of my close friends, we're all government majors, so politics is always a discussion.
Right.
Yeah.
It's always being talked about. Yeah, that's cool.
Always.
Yeah, see, I have a small circle of acquaintances and a small circle. I got like a pin drop boop, of actual friends that I deal with on a everyday level. But yeah, we rarely talk about politics. Everybody kind of steers away from it. One thing that I wanted to bring up while we're talking about it is like we talked about earlier, people me and Aniyah was having this conversation before we got on the show, guys, but we've noticed that when you have two friends or a group of friends and you guys start to talk about politics and you kind of start bumping heads and boom, you fall off because you guys have two different views, two different perspectives of life. You feel me? I don't think we should allow that to happen. I think we should, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. We're all allotted our own perspective of things
Mm-hmm.
that's going on in the world news. We can all watch the same movie and have different, we could have all seen the same exact film, but then summarize it differently
Mm-hmm.
because you ingest it, you take it in based on your own perspectives in life. But don't lose friendships and break acquaintances and and stuff like that and based on somebody's political view unless it's directly offensive, towards a major topic in your life. You feel me? If it's
Mm-hmm.
showing that they have no moral support for something that's very, very important to you, then I understand. But other than that, everybody's entitled to their own views. Everybody's
Mm-hmm.
entitled to their own opinions. So let's not do that. Let's just keep it going. What Aniyah believe may be separate from what I believe, but we can still work together. So
Right.
that's all we're saying, y'all. So Aniyah, name some ways, like particular, just kind of pick one, elaborate for me, pick another, elaborate. But let's give the audience some ways that they can get active because a lot of people don't even know how.
All right. So for me, my very first experience with getting politically active was speaking at a city hall or town hall meeting. Again, I was really passionate about a gun store being built 300 feet away from my school. So being able to go ahead and go to a meeting and just to see um, the major authority there and having them look at me and hear my voice, that is something that is always amazing. Other ways that you can get active are voting, of course, going to the ballots, primary elections, local elections, all of that. That's really good. Also, petitioning, there's a lot of petitions going around for Black Lives Matter, especially with all of the tragic events that's happening. So going on to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and just typing in petitions and just signing off petitions and letting the governors and the mayors know what your thoughts are. Um, what's else? And just spreading awareness and getting active. It helps you to build your own beliefs. It helps you find your beliefs and your values.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. You guys heard what she said, yo. Vote. Speak at some town hall meetings, some meetings in the community. Start with the community, guys. Start with the community. Vote. Petitioning. That's a new one. I didn't even know what that exact name was for that one. Maybe I could start there. I'm really good at speaking, so find something that you're comfortable with. Not everybody's comfortable with going and speaking at a town hall meeting. But hey, I'll say this: if you guys want to speak at a town hall meeting, but you don't want to be the one saying what you're saying, reach out to me. Or maybe or Aniyah. And we'll come and we'll help as long as it's in line with what we have going on and our beliefs. We have no problem. I'm a voice. I'm a public figure. So whatever they call it, they give a social media name, person a name or whatever. Like I'm here to help. I'm here to support. I'm here for awareness. Aniyah is literally an activist. Would you consider yourself as an activist?
Absolutely.
She's an activist, y'all. So she'll definitely jump in there and and help as needed. She's definitely gonna be a humongous voice in not only Las Vegas but all over the world. That is our mission: is to get her to be boom up there, so that we can spread the word. So Aniyah, if you had some advice for those getting started in activism, you kind of already tapped on it a little bit, but if you had some advice for, just say, for your generation, people your age and starting to get older in college and things like that, if you
Mm-hmm.
had some advice for them getting started in activism, what would that advice be?
I would say to not be discouraged and overwhelmed by the many things going wrong. I would say to pick one thing, research, fact check, and use reliable sources. There are a lot of media outlets that are really crafty with buzzwords, and those are things that are supposed to catch your attention and persuade you to think a specific way before you even do your own research. So do your own research and always fact check, and again, check your sources. If your sources are being influenced by a specific political whoever, and there's a story about them, or like they're opposing candidate, then maybe you can, look a little bit deeper into that. And then don't try to appease your family. I know a lot of people who have drastically different beliefs from their family members. And so that's discouraging, and that it stops the conversation before it even happens. And so with you going out and doing your own research, you're able to pass on knowledge to somebody else. Now, don't go and pollute it with your own opinion, of course, but go ahead and drop knowledge so others can pick it up.
Awesome. I definitely agree with you there, for sure. And when I say I definitely agree with you there, I really mean it. I definitely mean it. So look, next week on the Civil Discourse with Aniyah Brown, we are going to be discussing adultification of black girls and women. Aniyah, can you give them just a little preview of what that means, what that entails?
Okay, so adultification is pretty much taking a black child, in this case, a black woman, a black little girl, and grooming her as an adult before she needs to. And so this happens when you over-sexualize little black girls. This happens when you don't distribute house chores evenly, or make them feel like they have to carry on more weight. With darker complexion black girls, it's making them the warrior voice for black people. So there's a little conversation about colorism in there. Sexism. I'm going to go ahead and touch on how black girls and black boys are treated differently. So it's going to be great.
Awesome. So make sure that you guys tune in next week, which is Friday the 21st, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on the Just B Show, as we talk about identification of black girls and women, guys. You heard what she said. To sum it up, stop treating little black girls like Cinderellas, having them do all this extra stuff. You know what I mean? Having them do all this extra stuff, and let's not set that stigma on black girls and women starting from a young age. That's uncalled for. And yet we want to be married and be able to treat queens like queens they are. Let's not do that, guys. Make sure you tune in next week with myself and Aniyah Brown on Civil Discourse, guys. We definitely appreciate you coming. Aniyah, do you have any last words for the audience?
I'm just really excited for next week's episode.
Awesome,
so
guys.
Join in.
Yeah, everybody join in. If you just joined in, you missed it, watch the replay. If you want to see the previous episodes, you can go onto the Just B Show at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, wherever. You can find us everywhere. You can look up Aniyah Brown. What else? Yeah, that's about it. You know how I always end it with 3 quotes that I live and die by, guys. If you guys focus on these 3 things every single day, you'll always be in a progression. You'll always be in a forward movement. And number 1 is smile, laugh, and definitely motivate. Number 2 is inspire one to inspire all. And then eventually the whole entire world is going to get inspired. And number 3, you always know, I'm going to leave it at like this. And we love y'all.